Lionel's 2025 Volume 1 catalog is admittedly a hot topic right now. But by now, you've probably seen at least 6 different social media accounts going through what they think of it. Prices! Not this engine! Why that? Battery O-gauge! Well, here on Datafied, my son and I work on this thing called the Secondhand Overland. It's an O-gauge railroad with an obvious focus on Union Pacific, and nearly all of the trains and rolling stock we run here are of the pre-loved variety. So instead of freaking out about new things we'll never buy, I thought it might be more true to our wheelhouse to give you some good secondhand alternatives to the offerings in Lionel's latest catalog. Probably the most amusing factor to this all-new catalog is how much of this stuff isn't new. Let's start with the first train we see in the catalog, the Streamlined Hudson. These were originally released in 2010. However, the used market on these kinds of trains is still incredibly strong. Most examples are not only selling on auction sites for higher than they were new, but even higher than the prices in the new catalog. In this case, it might be smarter to nab a new one for yourself than it would be to try and find one secondhand. There's also the Hudson in the Lionmaster line that should be hitting shelves in spring of 2025. So if you need a Hudson to fit on your tighter turns, that might be the one to go for. I made a video last year on comparing the Vision Line and the Lionmaster versions of the Hudson, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. The next item is another Hudson. This time it's the streamlined variety of the famous Commodore Vanderbilt. Somehow this engine gets away with the Vision Line distinction, despite there not really being any notable features that a legacy engine would have already had. Not only that, but Lionel has done this engine before, and although it's an older model hailing from the late 90s, it still had decent features, good proportions and details. Just a quick look on eBay brings up about 20 or so examples, all priced at a fraction of the cost of the new Vision Line version from the catalog. And since the new version doesn't look all that different from the one from the 90s, all you're really missing are the more refined sounds, speed control, and whistle steam. Unlike the previous Hudson, this streamlined version may be a better one to find secondhand. The steam turbine may have failed as a design in real life, but Lionel knows their history. These original examples were icons of the brand, powerhouse pullers, and just fantastic to run. There are lots of examples of these to be found out there, but again, Lionel has made the S2 turbine in scale form before. In fact, Lionel reused the tender of the S2 when they made their scale T1 duplex. But finding these S2s with legacy control is a little tricky. Of the items in the catalog that fans and reviewers alike have been complaining about price with, this one seems to be more on the reasonable side of things, so if you're coming up empty-handed on the secondhand market like I was, it's probably safe to place an order for one of these new ones. The Heisler, the logging trains. These are certainly interesting examples of steam, and, according to my son, it's a miniature triplex. I guess he's right, there's 3 sets of wheels moving here. Lots of little parts moving, so they're definitely neat ones to watch go around the layout. There's plenty of these examples in the catalog, but you guessed it, this is yet another example of something we've seen before. Heislers aren't hard to find on the secondhand market, and most examples will run about half of what the new catalog versions run. Yes, even the new ones with legacy control, like these new ones. You may not get whistle steam with older ones, but other than that, you're not really missing out on much else. I'm starting to sound like a broken record because next we have yet another example of a reissued engine. And honestly, I'm surprised to see these back in the catalog so soon. This is a 442 Atlantic type, and it was released in the 2022 catalog most recently with the same features from the current catalog. You can actually still find new unsold examples out there from this release. The photo may show the bell at an angle, suggesting that it has a swinging feature, but these don't actually have that. So if you're shopping for an Atlantic, save yourself some time and money and just get one that's already out there. The diesels have all been released before too. What's different are the paint schemes they're being offered in. And I suppose this is a good time as ever to mention that yes, While Lionel has made lots of these before, there are some in the catalog that have not been released in certain road names or certain colors before. For some, that might be a reason still to go new instead of used if the desired options haven't been offered until now. But there's lots of new ones for heritage units here. Trainmasters have new paint schemes. Some of them have been around before. Then there's GP35s, SD40s. Because these are all diesels, there's no whistle steam or anything you're really missing out from previous releases. It's all mostly down to electronic components, and that's really it. This next part gets a little tricky because I've got this FA diesel set that I have from 2005, and it's got TMCC. I still haven't even officially unveiled this one to my son yet, so don't ruin the surprise. It needed a few things fixed, and I finally got it running well now, but I'm just waiting for a good time to show him. We've already had a lot of trains added, so it's best to pace myself, right? Anyways, on the surface, the new Legacy FA sets are just more of the same. It's the same engine with the same details, with newer control features, and that's it. So why is the price so much higher than previous releases? Well, on sets like these and older diesels with a second unit, my older example has one engine with power and the other with the dummy unit that's just along for the ride. Whereas these legacy examples are powered with both units, which affords you a lot more pulling power. Longer trains, more effortless operation. Heck, if it wasn't for the sounds all being in one of them, you could technically have two separately controlled powered A units running around. Wouldn't that be neat? As the catalog shifts from O-scale to traditional size, we're greeted with one of my favorite diesel engines to run, the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 F3. I got one of these for my son for his birthday a while ago, and the features are really honestly the same here. Ours is from 2020, and these are 5 years newer with the exact same features. In fact, these have the same features as the Legacy FA sets from a few pages before, so on the one hand, these might seem expensive, but on the other, you're saving like $300 by having slightly less exterior detail and all the same control features. Then again, for $100 less than that, you can also get a Lionmaster Hudson from the last catalog. I've now mentioned that engine twice in this video, but I think it's just because I really think that's a great value and I hope it sells well so Lionel makes more Lionmaster. But I digress. From there on, the rest of the catalog is franchise stuff with Mattel and Disney and Anheuser-Busch, and there's so many commemorative sets and branded things in there. That's all subjective to whomever is into that. For most folks in the hobby, collecting scale or even semi-scale trains, that's not really an area of focus. If you've picked up on a theme here, it's that most catalogs, and especially this throwback catalog, have products that have been released before in some way, shape, or form. If they've never made that engine in that road name or those colors before, this is your opportunity to get one. But if they have, there's a whole world of options out there on auction sites, stores, train shows, and other secondhand retail environments. Make use of that when figuring out what to add next to your roster, not just to save money, but also, you could have that train a whole lot sooner than the end of 4th sales quarter. There's always trains.com, which I browse weekly. Even if I'm not planning to add anything to the roster, it's just cool to see what's out there. Sometimes I discover trains I never even knew that they made before. Check them out if you haven't, and use my coupon code DATAFIED. Thanks for supporting those who support us. I feel like there's this expectation for when new catalogs are released to announce what you're getting, and the truth is, there are so many trains out there that you could get. You may not need anything from the catalog, and that's fine. Don't feel pressure to purchase new just for the sake of saying you ordered something. Hunting for that engine from the catalog you missed years ago is probably going to be more fun than waiting around for 10 months only to find out that the engine you actually wanted became available on a website in April. If you're getting something new, or if you've been on the hunt for something hard to find, I want to know. Leave a comment down below, and while you're at it, please like this video and subscribe if you're new. There's lots we're doing and a bunch we've already done, so check out our other videos in the meantime. We'll see you on the next one.
4023 here. I've got my consist together. Can I roll now? Over. 4023, you are good to go. Over. Copy that. 4023 is cleared outbound.